Hi guys, Bearded Rogue here, and today we are talking about Happy Salmon. This is a game that, by all rights, I should not love. It is goofy, it is silly, it has very little in the way of any kind of strategy or tactics or anything. It's just a game. And I'd say it meets the definition of a activity more than a game. There's not a lot of decisions. There is a decision, and I'm going to talk about that, but there's not a lot of decision inside of this. So, first of all, the first thing I love about this game is that it is very, I won't say overproduced, but very well produced. It's very small, and so a lot of detail was spent into making it fancier, like this fun little neoprene fish that it comes in. How many games do you have that come in a neoprene fish? Very few. This has a couple of practical purposes. It's not waterproof, but it is very water resistant. So this is something that you can take with you to bars, pubs, restaurants, various places that aren't necessarily safe drink-wise. It is an active game, so having a container that isn't going to get ruined by liquids is important. Now, like I said, it's not waterproof. I'm not saying that it's going to, you could dump your drink all over it, but much more so than a cardboard box, this is going to last a little longer. But, yeah, it's got a nice little zippered pocket. The fish is adorable, and it's a bit practical as well. Anyway, I love that. Next thing, there are a whole bunch of different cards. The game is basically exclusively cards. There are 6 different colors, player colors in here. Each player has their own color, and I'm going to go ahead and take a few out here so that I can comment on some of it. There's the way the game is played is something that I can't really illustrate on camera without multiple people. But just suffice it to say, everybody has a deck of cards, and each deck has 4 different cards in it. So the first one is Switcheroo. So when you draw a Switcheroo card, or when you have a Switcheroo card on top of your deck, you say, hey, switcheroo, 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 and then when someone else at the table matches you, you both switch places around the table, and then throw this card down on the table. That card is done. High five is exactly what it sounds like. You wait until somebody else gives you a high five, and then you throw it on the table. Pound it, better known as the fist bump. In this case, you wait until somebody else can fist bump you. Once you both fist bump, you throw it on the table. The last is the Happy Salmon, and Happy Salmon is very difficult to illustrate by yourself. Basically, both people hold up their arm, and then they slap their hands against each other's forearm. And then once they've done that, they throw it on the table. The goal of the game is to get all of your cards on the table first. Whoever does that wins. Really, everybody wins because you're going to be laughing and frantic and just trying to keep up with everything that's going on. Now, I said that there was a decision in the game, and I think it's the only decision in the game. I mean, I guess there is the decision of who you partner with to complete an action. If somebody's really far ahead, everybody could try to ignore them to catch up. I don't know if that's something you could do in the heat of the moment. But the one thing that you can do in the heat of the moment is, as you're doing these, you have one card that's visible. And so you're chanting, Happy Salmon, Happy Salmon, Happy Salmon, Happy Salmon. If nobody else at the table says Happy Salmon, and you don't think you're going to be able to complete this because everybody else's Happy Salmon cards have to be later on, you can shift it to the bottom, so you still have to do it eventually, but you can switch to a different thing. And therefore possibly complete it instead. If somebody else is sitting there saying pound it, pound it, pound it, pound it, while you're saying Happy Salmon, Happy Salmon, Happy Salmon, then switching to this card to where you both can pound it in advance is is a workable solution for you. It gets you one step closer. It also gets an opponent one step closer, which is one of the things I like about the game, is that it draws itself to a natural close because the opposing players are all bringing each other towards the end game. But yeah, so 2 decisions. Whether or not you put this card on the bottom and move on to the next one, or whether or not or which player you choose to interact with. Now, the base game has everybody chanting what it is that they're trying to do in order to get everybody's attention, make everybody aware that you're needing to do a specific thing. You can play it silently, which involves you pantomiming the action, so, you know, fist bumping, high-fiving, happy salmon, like pantomiming whatever switcheroo is spinning, like a rally symbol. So pantomiming the action you want to do. So you can play it silently rather than screaming and yelling. However, I feel that this is a game that really lends itself to screaming and yelling. It feels like a game you could play with pretty much anybody. I know that there are some people who don't like this game, not because of the screaming or yelling, but because it's silly or goofy. I think the silly and goofy enhances it. I think it's the perfect game to play with kids. I think kids can play this game by themselves. It's not a game that takes a long time to explain to people. It's literally just look at the card, do that action. If you do that action, throw it on the table, move to the next card. First player out of cards wins. That's it. That's the whole game. We've just explained it in less than 30 seconds. It doesn't have a time limit or anything like that, so it really just kind of draws itself to a natural conclusion. I don't think I've ever had a game take longer than 5 minutes, and that would be if everybody's cards come up wrong, like opposite each other. So, overall, I cannot recommend this one enough, especially to people with kids. It defies explanation as to why it is as much fun as it is, in my opinion, but I really enjoy this one. I think it's a fantastic game, and I think that if you have no problems with being goofy when you're playing games, then this is one that you should have in your collection. There's no reason to not own it. It's got an excellent price point, it's got high production values, and it's a lot of fun. So, happy salmon, everybody. Anyway, Bearded Rogue, signing out.